Hello everyone. Remember, you can rewind this and stop it whenever you need to understand something. Today we're going to go over 4.5, which is adding decimals and checking with estimation. Adding decimals is the same as whole numbers, except you need to keep track of the decimals. So I put in capital letters here. This is the biggest thing that you need to remember when adding decimal is always line up your decimals. If you don't line them up, you're not going to get the right answer. So let's jump right into a problem here. The first problem we go to maybe Target, and you're with your parents, and they have decided to buy a TV, and it's $356.20. And you see a Lego kit that you want. It's a small one, of course, but it's $12.45. So your parents say, "Oh, I'll get it to you, but I'll get it for you, but I need to know if I have enough." So they could start out by doing mental math. But the first thing that we need to do is make sure that we line up the decimals, like I mentioned a moment ago. So when we take the number down, we have $356.20. And so we have the decimal up here. Now the most important part is when we bring down 1245, we need to make sure that these decimals here are aligned. So underneath, right away, put that decimal there so you don't forget. And also another strategy you can do, if there's an empty space there, that means it's a 0. So put a 0 there so you don't forget that that place value is still there. That will help you do that. So now, first of all, we want to do some mental math like we've been practicing, or estimation. And the first thing we're going to do is use rounding in order to figure out where our answer will be approximately. And we want to round both numbers at the same place value. So I'm going to decide to round here from the 5, which is in the tens place value, and I'm going to look at the next one, and I see it's a 6. And we already know from learning rounding that 6 makes the rounding number go up 1. So I would write 360, okay, 360 as my top estimation number, and on the bottom I'm going to round to the same place value, and I'm going to look at the 2, and I know 2 is below 5, so I know that's going to stay the same. So I'm going to write the estimation over here, and then I'm going to add up the estimations. So we got 0, 0, 0, 7, 3, 70. So our estimation is $370. So your parents could decide whether they have enough money in their pocket in order to buy it, or they just get an idea of what the price is. And for you, when you're doing these problems, this will tell you whether your answer is close or it's not. If it's not close to your estimation, then probably your answer is wrong. So let's go back over to the problem now. We're adding it together for the exact one. This is no longer an estimation. So we go over here and we start in the hundredths, and we see 0 plus 5, and we don't need to borrow in the case of adding here. And then we're going to go over here, and 2 plus 4 is 6. And look, we already put our decimal there, so we don't have to worry about it. And then we come over here, and 6 plus 2 is 8. And then 5 plus 1 is 6. And I don't have anything here to add, so I'm going to come up with $368.65. So this is the exact price, and this is the estimate. And as you can see, they are relatively close. And as we've talked about, this would be an overestimation. So when we got to the counter and we found out it was $368.65, we would have enough money and getting a little bit more back than we had expected. All right, so let's do another problem together to make sure that we understand this. Okay, so I have another problem here already written out. And so first of all, please look up here. There is what we use as when we're writing as a quotation mark. And that quotation mark means inches. It's a measurement. So I just want to share that before we do this problem. So we have a a tool that we need to put into a box. And the box's length is 16.9 inches. And there's two different parts. There's a top part to this item, and then there's the body of the item. And we have to measure these and add these together to find out if that tool will fit into the box. So, first of all, this is in a horizontal position, and I need to put it into a vertical position by first lining up my decimals. So the first one, it doesn't matter. I just put 0.86 or 86 hundredths. But the second one, I need to make sure that I line it up exactly with the other one. All right. So my two decimals here are lined up. So I know that my calculation is going to turn out okay. So we have these lined up. The numbers are lined up. So I'm going to put a decimal at the bottom, right in line. You can see it's in line here. So I don't have to worry about it when I get my answer. So again, I want to do an estimation in my head to see if my answer is close or not when I do the actual calculation. So we will go over here and we will round to the same place value. So I'm going to round to the tenths place value. So I underline 8, I put an arrow over to 6, and right away I can see that the 6 is greater than 5, so I need to change the rounded number. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to put 0.90. And then over here, again, I have another number, and in the hundreds I have 8. And next to the rounding number, I have a 7, and I also know that 7 is greater than 5. So I'm going to take the rounding number and put it up. Also, I'm aligning my decimals at the same time. So I know I'm going to change that to 0. And I can't forget my whole numbers, so I'm going to put 15 over here. Now I just need to add them to get my estimation. So we've got 0. 9 plus 9 is 18. I'm going to put my decimal down here, and I'm going to carry my 1, and 5 plus 1 is 6, and 1680. So my answer is 1680. So my estimate, if I look at my estimate, it's 16.80, and up here my box length is 16.9. So I'm thinking it will fit, but I need to get the exact answer before I can actually decide on that. So 6 plus 7 is 13. 8 plus 8 is 16 plus 1. And so we got to carry the 1 over into the 1's place. And so now we got 5 plus 1, which is 6. And then 1 we bring down. So our answer is 6 73 hundredths of an inch. So our answer that we would need to write down, we could write it as 16 73 hundredths of an inch, or we could write 16.73 inches with the word behind it, but make sure you label them. And if we look at both the estimate and the exact answer we got, they're very close, and we know that that is less than 16 9/10. So we know that it will fit in that box. And that's all there is to adding with decimals.